So, I'm going to introduce you to Barbaros the Barbarian. Barbaros was born to a human mother and orc father. Tragedy struck early for Barbaros. His father, a caravan guard, was murdered by a wood elf druid in a bar along his caravan route when Barbaros was only 5 years old. His mother was heartbroken and was never really able to keep her and Barbaros far from homelessness and starvation. She eventually sickened and died when he was only 7. This put him on the streets of a city where he learned to survive through sleight of hand and stealth. And for a number of years, that was his life. It's not an easy life being a half-orc in a city where a lot of prejudice and a lot of hatred for orcs exists. So, a lot of tough times for Barbaros. A lot of room for backstory and character building if you're going to take this on for yourself. Now, Barbaros was found on these streets, taken in, shown kindness, shown food, care, how to read, write, and common. And then, once again, tragedy strikes. Barbaros is made in his teens, living among monks. These were monks that took him in. And at the monastery, they were kind, they get food, decent labor, and treated him like an equal. First time in his life, he felt like he belonged. And he communed with nature, and that felt good. And he learned about spirits and magic and the different aspects of the world that he lived in beyond the city. And then raiders came and they burned that monastery to the ground. And Barbaros was never a violent child despite his orcish upbringings. Aggressive maybe, but never violent until this night. When the raiders came and they burned that monastery down and killed the monks who were kind to him. This teenage boy of only 15 learned what it meant to feel rage, hatred. And he slaughtered many of the raiders. But it wasn't enough. He was struck down, left for dead. But from the ashes and fire, he rose. And on the first day, he decided revenge would be his way. But he wanted them to feel the fear he felt on that night. So, tending to his wounds out in the woods, searching for their encampment, Barbaros came upon a bear. This bear had been wounded, almost not in hunting or in challenge, but by these very same bandits, left for dead. Barbaros took this bear and he put it out of its misery. But he fashioned from its pelt and claws a headdress and gauntlets and a costume that made him look very much like a bear. And late in the night, fire and a roar of rage, Barbaros went into that raiders' camp. And when the sun rose, only Barbaros lived, and only smoking ruin was left of their camp. And this begins the story of Barbaros, the barbarian.